The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to What's Happening in Health. So grateful you are sharing part of your Sunday morning with us. Got a great hour of hope and healing for you today. Hard to believe we are getting ready for this year's Strikeout Stroke game at the Great American Ballpark. We're so lucky to have a team in-house in the Greater Cincinnati Stroke Consortium. They do all kinds of things to raise our awareness. I want to welcome Amy Miners, Betsy Jackson. They are nurses with this great group. And Quinn Lambert is here. Quinn Lambert Moskowitz is a stroke survivor. And Dana, his mom, is here as well. So glad to have you here to share your story. We know strokes can happen at any age, so we are looking forward to hearing more from you. And the American Heart Association needs you to ride a bike. Cycle Nation, they call it. It's now recruiting teams to help raise money and awareness for heart disease and stroke. So Taylor Meyer, the development director at the American Heart Association, joining us. We're going to find out what this is all about. So glad to have you back. But first, quick headline for you today in your healthy future. It is the most important meal of the day. But breakfast is getting a failing grade, especially for our kids. Kids' breakfast cereals are becoming even less healthy, new research shows. Kids' breakfast cereals are, according to a study in JAMA, now higher in fat, salt, and sugar content than ever before. They have shot up, researchers say, since 2010. Meanwhile, the levels of protein and fiber have been reduced. The biggest concern, of course, is just that one serving, the average cereal, has 45% of the daily recommended limit of sugar for a child. So half of what you should get in a day, you're getting before you ever leave the house in your breakfast cereal. All right, on now to our top story this half hour in Look Good, Feel Better. We are kicking off the unofficial start of summer, as we know, after Memorial Day weekend. And many of us use this time sort of to improve body and soul. And one of the most popular procedures anytime people have time off for recovery in the summer months is rhinoplasty, or a nose job as we know it, according to facial plastic surgeons.
In her case, she had a little bump on her nose, so we modified that, we straightened that out.
Since high school, Charlotte Coates says pictures at a distance like this were okay. But up close, oh no.
I didn't like the side profile. I had a big bump.
So in a surgery much like this one provided by Ohio's Advanced Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center, Charlotte Coates got a nose job. In her case, a full rhinoplasty, which readjusts the bone and cartilage underneath the skin.
The approach that we take most commonly is called an open approach. And what that means is there's a little tiny incision. So you'll see a little purple marking in the columella between the nostrils here. Everything else is made internally.
But also popular these days, Dr. Mendelson told me.
We can do what's called a tip-plasty.
This is where they focus on improving the appearance of the nasal tip, mainly by altering cartilage and soft tissue at the end of the nose. Both are a team approach based on the patient request.
We do not leave the operating room until everybody's satisfied.
And talk about satisfied. Look at Charlotte's before and after.
I think it mainly changed my confidence. I don't know, it's just, I for some reason feel more like myself with this nose.
There are risks of infection and sensation changes, and healing takes several months. But Charlotte says recently at her sister's wedding,
I was okay doing like the pictures looking at her.
After years, she said, of never being happy with a side or profile shot.
And now I just don't even have to worry about it, so that helps.
We love to hear that. If you'd like more information on either of these procedures for your nose, 513-351-3223. A full nose job or a tip-plasty costs several $1,000s, and if it's for cosmetic purposes, it's generally not covered by your medical insurance plan. All right, just ahead, it is called kombucha, and a new study says it's good for your gut. We're going to explain why in Gut Instinct. And Amy, Betsy, Quinn, and Dana all joining us from Strikeout Stroke. Can't wait to share more of their stories of inspiration. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Metro and Gastro Health.
In Gut Instinct today, in a recent study in the Journal of Nutrition, researchers investigated the intestinal health impacts of regular black tea, kombucha as it's called. Kombucha is a drink produced by fermenting sweet tea with a culture of yeast and bacteria. Researchers found in just 8 weeks drinking this helped the gut bacteria of those who were both normal weight or overweight. And the overweight group appeared to have the most benefit from it. Good gut bacteria can help with everything from absorbing nutrients to keeping harmful bacteria from overgrowing. In Listen to This today, one of the things we are learning is that there is often a connection between your hearing and your overall health. Dr. Matthew Kist of Lund Hearing Care in Florence says if you have a hearing problem, for example, there's now a link to health problems that include everything from falls to heart failure. He joined us last week with Dr. Stephanie Grace from Phonak to share more about that connection.
Everything's connected in the body. Hearing loss can show progression with cognitive decline, even things such as heart failure, but noise exposure too. People are becoming more and more aware of they need to protect their ears, so later down in life they'll be okay. They're not increasing risks of cognitive decline or hearing loss.
All right, the Lund team would love to have you evaluated, or maybe someone you love. If you're worried about hearing loss, you can call them at 859-342-5846. All right, well, on now to our wonderful team from Strikeout Stroke. I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about who they are and what they do. But as you can see, the Greater Cincinnati Stroke Consortium is sort of their umbrella organization. Tell us who you are and how you're involved with that.
So we are a group of healthcare providers from, hospitals in our area who decided to come together to share, best practices. We have meetings once a month, but really our goal is stroke prevention. And after you have a stroke, what you can do to get through it. So it's a lot of support, a lot of education. We do education in schools. We have our big Strikeout Stroke event, which is probably, for me at least, our funnest event of the year. A lot of people there to see, education about stroke. So. And
you are passionate about this because?
Because I am a nurse, and so I've seen it. I worked in the emergency department for 18 years, and I was on, the front lines of seeing patients come in after a stroke, and I've also worked in the rehabilitation setting and seen them as they get through it. So getting that early care is so important, and so we want people to know the signs and symptoms of stroke. We want people to know that you got to get help quickly and then, recover and keep moving,
And I know you graciously bring other people here. We have our survivor here, but let's also talk to you, because I know you guys are colleagues in this sort of. Your passion, especially with Quinn, is to let us know that strokes can happen to anyone, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It could be at any age. Everybody typically would think it was 70, 80, 90-year-olds, and we are seeing it younger and younger now. So really, it's, we say time is brain. And we want to make sure that people know symptoms of stroke and not wait. A lot of people want to go back to bed and say, let me see how I feel tomorrow. And by then it might be too late. So
that's very common. Yeah, you wake up and you're like, oh, I'll just have a headache. Yeah. So Quinn, you're kind of our star. Tell us a little bit about you. Where do you go to school? What grade are you in? That kind of thing.
I'm 14 years old. I go to the junior high. I'm going into freshman year for Sycamore. I'm going to be at the high school next year.
And I'm told you have a few sports passions. Tell me about those.
Yeah, I've been doing figure skating for a couple years now, since I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I'm joining the football team next year.
And what are you going to do with the football team?
I'm going to play kicker.
Oh, person who gets the most points. And you're going to do that because, Mom, we have a medical condition that protects him or prohibits him from contact sports, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Quinn's story, because you probably don't remember everything, do you? No, that's probably a good thing, yeah. So go ahead.
He was 9 years old. It was in April of 2020, right at the beginning of lockdown, that this all happened. He had a dissected artery on the right side, and we're not really sure of the whys, but I did notice that day that it happened. He had the telltale signs. He had the facial drooping. He had issues speaking. He had issues with his walking. And like I said, he was 9 years old, so I called the doctor, and they told us to go on down to the hospital. And actually, he wasn't diagnosed right away once he was down there. He had an MRI, and they thought they saw an arachnoid cyst in his brain, and that was not the actual cause. That was not what was in his brain. And eventually we were referred to the vascular neurosurgeon at Cincinnati Children's, Dr. Vadavelu. and he was able to diagnose Quinn as having that dissection and having strokes, and he was able to see them on the CT scans that he had had. So he spent close to a year in a neck brace while he was recovering and making sure that that artery had healed. And eventually he now treats through Dr. Bain at the Cleveland Clinic, and he did a catheter angiogram at the end of 2020, and they noticed when he was, manipulating his neck under anesthesia that it was not pinching or occluding that artery. So they cleared him to take off the neck brace and go back to the ice to start skating, which he did with the restriction of no roller coasters, no contact sports. So it was a long year. He never once complained about that neck brace. I couldn't believe it. I don't think I would have had as good of a mental thought as he did, especially at that age, or any age, honestly, of having to wear that for so long. But he never complained. It was fantastic.
What was that like to be in a neck brace for a year?
I don't remember.
You really didn't?
I don't remember.
I mean, you're 14 now, so it was a few years ago. So do you kind of worry that something will happen again, or you're just like, hey, I'm going to live my life? And
Yeah, I don't really think anything will happen again. Like, I had good doctors with it, so.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about stroke? Because I certainly wouldn't look at you and think anything was wrong.
It can happen at any age. I've had kids, like some of my old friends were like, you didn't have a stroke. I was like, yeah, I did.
Wow. Yeah, so it's almost unbelievable. Yeah. Now, where were you when this happened?
Well, we were at home when I noticed all those stroke signs.
But like time of day, you're up, you're just walking around.
It was in the
After
evening.
dinner.
So you remember that?
I remember that part, and I remember when the ambulance came.
Ah.
Yeah, I remember they put me on a stretcher because I guess they had to.
So do you remember being alert but you couldn't talk well, or do you remember any of that?
I remember, no, I don't.
You don't? Good, that's a good thing. That's why I'm asking, because it's like you have little recollections of that. So I know you're all here because part of what you do to raise money to educate the community is you have this wonderful baseball game that we have coming up. So let's get a little video of that game, and then who's the best person to tell me about the game?
I can
Go for it. What do you do? How do we sign up? Why do you have it? That kind of thing.
So it's our annual Strikeout Stroke Reds game. We're going into our 11th year of this, and it's pretty cool. And we do a pregame ceremony where we really honor stroke survivors. And this could be, usually we have 6 or 7 people. We throw out the first pitch from the stroke survivor, which Quinn is going to do this year. He's going to be throwing out that first pitch for us. And really it's about education. You know, they flash the Be Fast signs up on the Jumbotron just to make sure everybody is aware. And really it's about handing out education and community involvement here. So.
And then the money raised from some of the ticket sales goes to support your organization. So
Yes,
you continue
just a part of the tail. Yeah, the tickets go back to the Greater Cincinnati Stroke Consortium. So
that's great.
Yeah.
All right. So final words. We heard you say they put up the Be Fast. You want to remind us what Be Fast is?
Yes. So those are the signs we want you to look at. Okay. So balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and then time. So, hurry up and get help quickly, as you noticed quickly with Quinn when he was having some of those symptoms. And yes, so come out and see us. We'll take your blood pressure. We'll be in the fan zone.
All right, well, we will do that. We'll be putting out the word. We'll be sharing your story. One more time, I want to put out that Strikeout Stroke event date coming up on Friday, June 6th, which is just in a few weeks. And we'll be out there to watch you hopefully throw that first pitch. I'm sorry that you got the honor, but well deserved, my friend. Yeah.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you being a kicker. That's going to be some big news. That's exciting. All right, guys, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
To share what
Thank
you
you.
do.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, just ahead, that social media time may be contributing to your decline in mental health. We'll explain why in Minding Your Health. And Taylor's in the house. She's the development director with Cycle Nation from the American Heart Association. She's going to tell us how to get ready to pedal. Stay with us on what's happening in health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Northern Kentucky Area Development District and Glenwood Behavioral Health.
In Minding Your Health today, new study shows social media making kids more depressed. The research by UC San Francisco showed as kids' social media use increased, their depressive symptoms rose by more than 1/3 by the age of 12. Another troubling find, kids who are cyberbullied online were more likely to attempt suicide and experiment with drugs and alcohol. In our Donor of the Week today, we highlight a local man who is doing more than just rolling up his sleeve. He is also making a life-saving impact. This is Jordan Lewis. He recently took some time out of his day to stop at the Hawksworth Blood Drive, which was hosted at TQL Stadium. Not only is he a huge fan of the local soccer team, he says he continues to donate because he knows just how vital his blood can be to a person in need.
I understand, especially nowadays, blood is certainly at a premium, so I want to do my best, especially since my blood can go everywhere, to do my duty as a member of the community.
You can receive this FC quarter zip as a thank you if you donate this month, and you can call the Hawksworth Blood Center to make an appointment, 513-451-0910. All right, on now to a wonderful event coming up with the American Heart Association. They too support research and funding for heart disease and stroke. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Taylor Meyer with the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association. So the Cycle Nation campaign truly focuses on the stroke side of things. So really raising awareness and getting people out there to be active.
So I kind of love that the fundraiser promotes the message. Let's just start with what is Cycle Nation?
Yeah, so it's a 2-hour stationary cycling event on Fountain Square. About 8 people per bike, but it really focuses on strokes. So 80% of strokes are preventable. So getting people to understand how they can prevent these, stroke and overall brain health. So, getting active has a direct correlation with that. And, the greater Cincinnati area, we have hypertension, and half of us don't even know it. So making sure people are aware of that.
That's the scary thing, that is completely silent if you don't get it checked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have some video you sent us of people cycling. When you say 8 to a bike, tell me a little bit of how the event works. You have all these bikes on Fountain Square, and then what happens?
Yeah, so everyone is on the bike. It's high intensity, very exciting, and people are riding for about 15 minutes per bike or per person with that bike, that 2-hour time frame. So
you don't have to ride the whole 2 hours?
No, you don't.
But you need to build teams now. Now, who should make up a team? How many should you have on your team? That kind of thing.
So Cycle Nation is a reservation only. So if you're interested in getting more involved, just check out cyclenation.org/Cincinnati for more information.
And so it lets you kind of put your team members there.
Yeah.
But if I'm recruiting, who do I go recruit?
Yeah. So typically it is your company, and if you want to, you can reach out to your friends and family, just people you want to get to know around the Cycle Nation campaign.
And then what do you do along the way? Do you get sponsors to sponsor you?
Absolutely.
Kind of like a walk or that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we have sponsorship opportunities, and each bike level is a sponsorship, so the reservation levels. So.
All right, and it's a fall event, so you have some time.
October 8th, yes.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm always curious is when you say 80% of strokes are preventable, it sounds like, that's 8 out of 10. That's a huge amount. What are those things that we're doing or not doing that would make them able to be prevented?
Yeah, one of the easiest things and most treatable things is blood pressure, monitoring your numbers, hypertension, and those two numbers can go so long and so far. So making sure you're just advocating for yourself. So simply just that, and then also just physical activity. The easiest thing to do is getting active, reducing your risk of heart disease and stroke.
So it's interesting because we forget that the heart is a muscle and the brain is a muscle. And when you're active like that, you really kind of do all the things needed to keep those organs healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how many people total? We want to put up the event.
Yeah.
How many people total can you take?
So we have 75 bikes taking over Fountain Square, which is a lot of fun, and about 600 people out there. So really rallying around this. And we're also #1 in the nation. So little Cincinnati out of all of the Cycle Nations across the nation.
Meaning we get the most people to participate which raises
and
the most?
Raises funds, yep.
Wow, you should be proud of that. Yeah. How many years have you had this now? Because I know it's moved around a bit.
We're 9 this year.
Wow.
Number 9.
It started out as like this little cycle class.
Yeah.
You know, they used to do in one of the little cycle places. So, all right, if people want to sign up, we will, of course, put all the links to you.
Yeah.
at what'shappeninginhealth.com, and then you'll do you have like training groups along the way? They do that with, the races and things like that.
Yeah, we just encourage you to get out there and start cycling and getting prepped and ready for that. So no official training group, but maybe we'll in the future.
You should do that, because I know that's how we get hooked on like the pig and whatnot.
Yes.
We get in the training groups and then we kind of meet our group, which is really nice.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for what you do. It couldn't be more important. We know that, and we're hearing about that, this month and many others. So, all right, up next, something new in heart failure. We're going to share how it is changing lives. That's coming up in High Tech Health on What's Happening in Health. I want to leave you this half hour with a couple headlines. One is in High Tech Health. Technology now giving those with heart failure the chance to live a very full life. Some patients are implanted with something called a CardioMEMS device. It is a remote monitoring device to help doctors manage heart failure. Patients lie down on a special pillow that has a sensor to communicate with the implanted device. Scans are then sent directly to the patient's care team, and medications can be adjusted appropriately.
I'm able to live a full life remotely, anywhere that I want to, and know that I still have that protection, that somebody's keeping an eye on my heart for me. That's kind of life-changing.
So as you can see, the device allows patients to live that full life and stay out of the hospital from anywhere in the world. Somebody's tracking you the digital way. All right, in Aging Gracefully today, taking vitamin D supplements can help slow the body's aging process. Study by Mass General Brigham found not only does vitamin D maintain chromosomes, it also reduces inflammation and lowers the chance of chronic diseases. The study suggests getting more vitamin D could prevent 3 years of biological aging. All right, just ahead, a golf outing to help raise money for those living with breast cancer. We're going to share the latest on how you can help support Tina's Angels. That's a beautiful picture of Tina and Troy. Stay with us with our next half hour on What's Happening in Health.
The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health, sponsored by Mayfield Brain and Spine.
Morning, everybody, and welcome back to our second half hour here on What's Happening in Health. Got a great rest of the show for you today. Up first, it's a free event called Recess in the Stadium, and it brings families together to learn more about heart health. As you might have guessed, it's recess. It's a lot of playtime. And here to talk to us about playtime, we welcome Megan Brenner from the American Heart Association, and we welcome Dr. Bob Siegel from Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Can't wait to hear more from you. And a golf outing to help raise money for an organization that supports breast cancer survivors is here in house today, Tina's Angels. We want to welcome Troy Kerr. He is with Tina's Angels Foundation, and Santrina Fletcher. She's a breast cancer survivor. She has been part of this journey with Tina's Angels. We're going to share more of her inspiring story. But first, a quick headline for you today. The team at Mayfield Brain and Spine says if you are struggling with joint pain, tendinitis, headaches, or sciatica pain, dry needling may help. This is the Mayfield Brain and Spine physical therapy team in Westchester using this technique.
It is a small, fine needle that goes into tighter muscle groups, and it helps bring more blood flow to the muscle, helps reduce muscle tension or spasm.
If you would like more information about that, you can call the Mayfield team, 513-221-1100. In Healthy Innovations today, artificial intelligence going mainstream at Miami University. The Board of Trustees has just approved a Bachelor in Science in Artificial Intelligence. Professors of computer science say this degree is in high demand at Miami and across the country. School leaders say they believe it will put Ohio at the forefront of developing this technology. And they say the program will not only teach students the technology side of artificial intelligence, but also the ethical side to make sure that students know how to use it correctly.
We needed people to adapt, to make it better or customize the tool for different industry, right? So to me, I can see my students now, when they get a job, they do apply AI to the specific domain. It's like you have a generic model, for example, ChatGPT, right? That is a generic model. It does not necessarily apply for psychology, for healthcare. People normally have to do a redevelopment. That's where our degree graduates can come in to make the tool better, more customized for that application.
Yeah, AI really changing healthcare. The new degree has yet to get state approval, but school leaders say it could take about 3 to 6 months, and they're hoping to start offering courses in this by the upcoming school year. Also topping this hour, legal medicine, we call it. People tend to trust those who grew up poor over people who grew up rich. A study by the American Psychological Association did an experiment where it gave participants profiles of fictional people. They then asked who would they trust more with money. Most people believe that those who grew up with less money were more moral and trustworthy than those who had a privileged childhood. All right, just ahead, the importance of planning for future care, what we know about it in healthy caregiving. And Megan and Dr. Bob here to talk about recess in the stadium. Stay with us on what's happening in health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Life Enriching Communities, NKADD, Hawksworth, and Aptiva Health.
In healthy caregiving today, 2 in 3 of us will need long-term care as we age, but most of us don't plan for it. That's the latest from a new poll led by the University of Michigan. It found nearly half of adults ages 50 and older think the need for long-term care is too far off to think about. More than half think it is unlikely they'll need that care. Experts who led the poll say the numbers are concerning, however, considering our aging population.
Well, we never know what's going to happen in the future. While we understand that we have some diseases or we know that there are some needs that can be planned for the future, we are never free from a health crisis that can occur in any minute. And we really want to know that you have given express your desire, your wishes to someone who can help make those decisions if you are no longer able to make them in the future.
Fewer than 1/4 of people in this poll have actually designated someone who could be a future caregiver or even signed a legal form saying who can make health decisions for them if they cannot make them on their own. All right, on now to a wonderful event that we get to sort of learn about each year. It's called Recess in the Stadium. Hello to you. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, yes, my name's Megan. I work for the American Heart Association, and I do all things event planning. This upcoming event, Recess in the Stadium, being next in line.
All right, we love Recess in the Stadium, so tell us what it is.
Yes, so this is a 2-hour event down at Nippert Stadium in Clifton, University of Cincinnati's campus. 2 hours of just promoting heart health activities. So the field is full of active stations, have kids run around, burn some energy out of them. It's promoting heart health. And then up on the concourse are more educational booths where you get to kind of learn about the heart and learn about heart healthy activities.
And I know our wonderful friends at Cincinnati Children's get behind this. Hi, Dr. Bob. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Bob Siegel. I'm a pediatrician at Cincinnati Children's at the Center for Better Health and Nutrition, which is part of the Heart Institute, and we help families live better lifestyles, eating better, sleeping better, exercising more.
And we are told that the younger you can start that, the better it is. And so, I don't know, I know as a dietitian, I've seen the research that says we're seeing obesity now in children ages 3 to 5, which is heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a tremendous problem, and of course heart disease is the leading killer worldwide now. And a lot of it depends on risk factors that we develop when we're young. So if we can lower the risk while people are young, they can carry those practices into adulthood. So leading healthier lives is really important to start at the earliest age that you can.
Yeah, I know we're learning a lot about that. Let's show some of your photos and video. Talk to us about that day. Who can come, who it's appropriate for, what kind of things you can learn, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is, we say it's best suited for 4 to 14-year-olds, but bring the whole family. There's absolutely something for everyone to do at every age, 1, 2. So bring the whole family. We have a stroller designated area, so you don't have to bring that around with you, but free event down this upcoming Saturday. So bring the entire family out. Down on the field, we have stations like we have football, relay races. You put on the uniforms, you put on the padding, and we have a little obstacle course. We have a tackling area. We do a 40-yard dash. Soccer shots comes out. Orange Theory will be there this year, kind of leading a little boot camp. And then up on the concourse, we have stations. The Cincinnati Public Health will be out there. We have basketball. And one of my favorite stations, actually Dr. Siegel gets to lead. It's you learn about heart anatomy. So we use what are these cow hearts, and you get to see how they look, how they feel. He'll kind of give you some anatomy lessons behind it, but kids really get into it. So that is my personal favorite.
Yeah, we've been out there to see the cow heart. It is a favorite, and I think it's because at the core of it, you're really understanding how the heart is a muscle.
Yeah, and kids get a real hands-on experience where they can actually hold the heart, look at how it works, and just see the wonder in it. So it's fun, and it's fun for kids of so many ages. It's just a pleasure to watch.
So what I love about this day is it takes really what is activity that's critical, and they don't even know they're getting it. And are you learning that with families, when you could incorporate that, it gets them off the couch? And we have such a sedentary lifestyle now.
You're exactly right. If you're doing things that you find are fun, then you want to do it, and you're more likely to do it. So yes, you're absolutely right.
I think I read that the average sit time has gone anywhere from 5 to 7 to 8 hours now because we have so much more screen time. So whether parents go or not, what are you recommending to try and sort of reduce that?
So families coming out for events like this, doing things that are active, getting outside, sitting as little as possible. We try and limit screen time in kids to 2 hours a day maximum. So anything you do that's outdoors or indoors that's active is just perfect. And if it's fun, it's even better.
Yeah, we didn't used to have to kind of come up with guidelines for so many different screens that you would do that. And I know the American Heart Association's really been sort of having to adapt to that.
Oh, yes.
When kids used to go home, you used to naturally go out and play, which meant you were active. But nowadays, it's like, Mom, can I play, whatever the video game is, or that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So have you tried to incorporate, some technology with this as well as some playtime so people understand they can have both?
Yes, we actually have a brand new station, which is really exciting. Dr. Moore from Children's is bringing it out. It is a VR surgical simulator. I don't know what all that entails quite yet, but I will absolutely be stopping by that table. It'll be really close to Dr. Siegel's area. So Children's has kind of taken over the concourse for us this year on all the educational pieces, but this VR sounds really exciting.
Oh, that's neat. All right, I'll give you the final word. What is it that you really feel like this day says to families?
It says to families, getting out as a family, parents modeling behavior to their kids, and just out being active, having fun, having good, healthy snacks is definitely the way to go.
It's interesting you say the modeling because kids do what their parents do. So, if you'll go out and do things with them, it does make a difference. So it's great that you kind of involve the whole family. I know it's free, runs for the day. We will put all the information at what'shappeninginhealth.com. But remember, again, it's Saturday the 7th, 9:30 to 11:30 at Nippert Stadium this year. I know it's moved around a little bit, and you can sign up through a link at what'shappeninginhealth.com. Good to have you guys back. We appreciate what you do. We know it makes a difference.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here today. All right, up next, some new research about a child's weight and how it can impact them later in life. We're going to tell you more about that in Wait No More. And Troy and Santorina are hanging out with us. We've got some amazing stories to share about Tina's Angels, how they provide for breast cancer survivors. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Miami University, the Vein Center of Cincinnati, and Lindner Center of Hope.
In Wait No More, a child's body weight could indicate whether they will be at risk for obesity as an adult. A study by the ECHO program tracked children's body mass indexes, which is a weight for height measurement, and found about 10% of kids saw a rapid increase in their BMI from ages 3 to 9. Researchers found those children are more likely to be obese as adults, which raises the risk for serious health problems. All right, on now to a wonderful program in our community known as Tina's Angels. And Troy, you started that because?
My sister inspired me after a 15-month battle with breast cancer. She died at the age of 42 on November 5th of 2010. And she went from being my sister to one of my closest friends to my hero. And I wanted to do something to leave her, continue to have her legacy live on.
Well, you've certainly done a great job with that. And one of the people who's benefiting from that is our wonderful breast cancer survivor. Hi, Santrina.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. I've recently learned that I'm in remission, so I'm doing great.
Ooh, hallelujah. There's nothing better than good scans, they say, when you get them. So glad to hear that. So we recently had a chance to partner with the two of them for this organization known as Tina's Angels. And recently they did something pretty amazing for Santrina. We got to be there to show you how, in honor of a sister and a friend to so many, this organization now helps hundreds of others. Watch this. You see, helping others was Tina's wish before she lost her battle with breast cancer. So her brother Troy and his family.
You're probably going to be a better golfer than me. Tina's Angels creates lasting memories for men or women who are battling breast cancer in memory of my sister, Tina.
Tina's Angels funds those lasting memories from events such as this golf tournament each year. Friends nominate friends for the gifts, which is why Troy reached out recently to Santrina Fletcher.
It was November of 23. I was first diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer.
Santrina is a nurse practitioner who owns Kentucky's Derma Lounge. She's now taking advanced courses so she can help other cancer survivors with complementary care here.
And I can't wait to teach others what I've learned.
In full disclosure, when I heard what Santrina was doing, I wrote Troy a letter about her.
Rather than falling apart, she got stronger. She decided she would take the worst thing in her life and make it one of the best for others, which is what Tina did.
Yes.
Troy told us he could not agree more. And so this past week, he invited us along to share something remarkable with Santrina.
Tina's Angels wants to send you and your family on a trip.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I hug you?
We had to call her husband, of course, with the good news.
He's definitely my rock.
Yes.
So we were asking her, where's a few places you haven't been that you might like to go?
I don't know. I mean, we've thought about maybe like East Coast, Northeast, or out West.
And as for Santrina's 9-year-old daughter,
I want her to see that I am strong and that she could do the same if she's faced with challenges throughout her life.
a message Troy says Tina also shared with her own family, which is why he feels lucky to bless her angels. It still gets me every time. So a couple things about that. You do a bunch of different gifts. The trips are one of them. And you do that through some fundraising efforts throughout the year, the golf tournament. We got that coming up again. So we had to bring you back to talk about it. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with that.
So yeah, it's Thursday, June 19th at Shaker Run Golf Course in Lebanon, Ohio. We've got about 150 signed up so far. We're hoping to hit about 160, 170. So still time to sign up. It's a shotgun start at 9 a.m. You'll see a lot of pink golf balls on the golf course. So we appreciate everybody's support because it helps us be able to help people like Santrina. And it's just so wonderful to celebrate her remission. And I love the fact that she wants to show strength to her daughter because that's what Tina did with her 3 boys. So I commend you for what you're doing for your daughter. It's amazing. It's something she'll never forget.
So it's so interesting to me that this organization has sort of connected you with, you lost your sister, but people that are in the same way, just kind of that strength. And, a lot of us ask, like, what keeps you going? Because, my goodness, you've got, things that you've really had to work around, and you're, like, doing more than you've ever done.
Yeah, it's the bright, shining light from Tina still. I'm, like, in tears because of this segment. I'm fighting on her behalf, so it really makes me want to fight harder.
It's really true. When you launch this, you feel like so alone when you lose someone you love, and then you sort of get surrounded, don't you, with people that have the same desires and the same, sort of goals to, kind of keep the mission going.
It's amazing. I see the strength Tina had in Santrina, and just a lot of the same attributes and positive things that she's doing with her life, and the strength and her wittiness and her toughness reminds me a lot of Tina, so I get a lot of joy and a lot of humility from this.
Yeah, and we should mention that, I mentioned your nutrition thing, but you're about to launch this. Just tell me a little bit about what you did and why you wanted to do it.
Well, I needed to take the bull by the horns because when I asked what I should be eating, they didn't know what to tell me. They're like, just don't lose weight. So I enrolled in an oncology nutrition consult program. So I am now certified in that. So whenever your doctor says, hey, I'm not sure what to eat, they can hand my information to them. So I can help through that process. And I've also started the Santrina Strong Foundation, so people can actually get 2 free consults and a holistic therapy to help with their journey.
So think about that. Like, it's almost like this catalyst. Tina did something, and then you bring, and that's how we get, these amazing support services that you said you kind of had to be the resource that you couldn't find. And you were already a nurse practitioner, so you kind of added to that. Yeah. So that course is not easy.
No, it was not easy.
I know that. I'm a dietitian. Everybody goes, oh, the nutrition courses are going to be easy. No, they're not. Not at all. By the way, can we see the pink golf balls? Because they're really fun. They're worth playing.
Yeah, we have our new logo on the golf balls. Thank you to our board member Sam, who came up with our new logo. And,
look at that. That's your new logo?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
So
what I think this says is, you know how like normally you would find the golf balls and they don't mean anything? Anything left over there, people are going to know.
They're going to know.
Yeah, what your mission is, why you did it. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think when you pay it forward, you're already helping others learn to eat. As you say, giving them those consults, that kind of thing. That's how we change the world. That's what Tina wanted more than anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now you said you have about 150 signed up, but there's still time to sign up. And do I have to be a good golfer? Do I need a team? What do I need to do?
No, you don't have to be a good golfer. Majority of the pink balls that I hit go into the water, so you do not have to be a good golfer. It's a scramble format. So I've actually got a coworker who's never golfed. He's going to be in the golf outing. He's going to use my clubs. So just come out and have fun and enjoy the day.
Yeah, and just for a little bit of background, you do a paintball, you do a couple of things.
Yeah, we do paintball fundraisers. We've done other fundraisers throughout the year. We want to get our kickball fundraiser going again. We had a lot of success with that, so we're looking at starting that back up again. But just trying to do things that are family oriented, that people enjoy doing. We want to make memories that when they're done at the golf outing, they're saying, okay, when is it next year? We want to go ahead and put it on our calendar. So we want it to be enjoyable because people can give money to all different great organizations out there, and ours obviously means a lot to me, but just whatever we can do to enhance the day.
Yeah, we want to continue to see that grow. All right, Santrina, we will give you the final word. I know this has been quite a journey, and it's been our privilege to follow you. So, what have you learned that you find yourself really sharing?
So, healing cancer and, trying to battle it is a full-time job, and you need help. And fun is also part of that journey. You absolutely have to have fun when you're trying to battle breast cancer or any type of cancer. So I really, really appreciate Teenage Angels. She is shining brightly through everyone.
That's a message for all of us. There is so much healing and joy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well said, my friend. All right, we will put a link to their organization, how you can sign up and continue to put the word out there at what'shappeninginhealth.com. It is a privilege to have both of you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. All right, just ahead, new research on alcohol and a possible link to a long-term illness. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health. And our team here to talk about the liver walk, as they call it. It's a walk that supports those in need of liver transplants and liver health. Can't wait to share it in our third half hour here on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Network for Hope, William E. Hesh Law, Serene Suites, and Surgeonista.
Hey, quick update for you regarding Hawksworth Blood Centers. In our first half hour, we mentioned that they were giving away a zip-up for FC Cincinnati, but it's a new month now, so we were wrong. We actually have to tell you that now they are starting their Summer of Fun, and they're brewing up a special thank you. When you donate blood or platelets, you'll receive this gift card during the month of June. It's a free Big B coffee just in time for summer giving. Give a little, save a life, they say. It'll perk up your day and, of course, someone else's life. In your So Vein today, alcohol influences your vascular system and potentially could raise the risk for certain cancers, according to new research. It shows us that cancer deaths linked to alcohol have doubled in the past 3 decades, according to new research. Researchers found alcohol-related cancer deaths rose from nearly 12,000 in 1990 to more than 23,000 in 2021. And mortality rates were significantly higher among men 55 and older. The authors say they used data from the Global Burden Disease Database and focused on several alcohol-associated cancers. The findings are expected to be presented this week at the 2025 American Society of Clinical Oncology conference that's going on. In your Healthy Rights today, the COVID-19 vaccine will no longer be recommended for healthy pregnant women and healthy children on the CDC's immunization schedule. U.S. Health and Human Services Director Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced that the change is coming this past week on social media. COVID-19 vaccine policy is now undergoing several changes. Last week, the FDA said it is overhauling how it approves COVID-19 vaccines, and that is a move that could impact the availability of future shots for older Americans, as well as people at higher risk of serious COVID-19 infection. Also, this half hour, we want to leave you with Body by Design, a warning about a surgery that's actually growing in popularity. It's called rib removal surgery, and it's rib resection, this area here. Doctors say it is generally done to give a person more of an hourglass shape, and it removes what's called the floating ribs, which are ribs 11 and 12, to achieve a more defined waistline or a narrower waist-hip ratio. The American Society of Plastic Surgeons says it is considered low risk if it's performed by an experienced surgeon, but you should know that you have to wear a corset for at least 3 months following this procedure, and you have to wear it all the time. The risks include chronic pain, unsightly scars, and a sunken appearance, as well as a loss of protection that those ribs actually do provide. It is suggested if you're considering this surgery, you ask for before and after photos from previous patients, if a physician will let you talk to them, and possible patient references. All right, just ahead, knowing the symptoms of depression, we'll share what you need to know in what we hope you know about your mental health and helping the blind and visually impaired. Look who's in the house. Give me a hello there. We are so glad to have the team from CABVI. Alex Eby's here with Carol Lotke, and we're going to tell you just a little bit about what's going on with their team coming up in our next half hour on What's Happening in Health.
The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health, sponsored by TriHealth.
Morning, everybody, and welcome back to our third half hour here on What's Happening in Health. Got a great rest of the show for you. Thanks for staying with us. We start with the Liver Life Walk, as it's known, which is a signature event of the American Liver Foundation. It gives participants an opportunity to come together, raise awareness and money to support good liver health in so many ways. Here to share more about that, we want to welcome back Sherry Patterson. She's our hero, and the team captain for the UC transplant community, Juliana Coates, the chairwoman, and Matt, an adult liver warrior. Can't wait to hear more from you. And it is a resource in our community that can help change lives. The Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, or CABVI as we know them, they've been helping individuals live independently with confidence for years. We want to welcome them to our program. They are here with our special events manager, Alex, and our donor relations specialist, Carol. They are going to talk to us about an event going on this week, open to the community so we can all learn more. But first, quick headline for you this half hour. There is a growing trend right now called holiday hoarding when it comes to your work. And it means that you can hang on to your holidays and vacation days out of the fear maybe of losing your job or the overload of work when you return. But employee assistance workers say that takes its toll on body and soul. So they suggest you remember this.
And there's plenty of research showing making the link between time off and better physical health, better mental health, and even better, it's good for companies' bottom line as well. Employees who are rested, who are not burnt out, tend to be more creative, tend to be more flexible, tend to just be more effective.
TriHealth EAP and the Cleveland Clinic say that time off reduces cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. It also boosts mood hormones and improves overall brain function to make you more creative, decisive, and focused. Who knew? In Hope You Know today, which is what we hope you know about your mental health each week, an important reminder that sadness that lingers could be real depression. A report in Very Well Mind shows that depression can look different from person to person. While one person might struggle just to get out of bed, another can go to work every day without anyone really noticing that something's wrong. It's also important to know that what seems like depression could actually come from something else, side effects of medication, substance use disorder, or even another mental health condition with similar symptoms. So here's a few of the common symptoms. If you are noticing changes in appetite, sleep disturbances, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, those are all warning signs of depression. If they linger, you may want to talk to someone, and the Linder Center of Hope would love to hear from you. 513-536-4673 is their 24/7 hotline. In Healthy Diversity today, new research suggests that unhealthy habits may take a heavier toll on a woman's heart than a man's. At a recent meeting of the American College of Cardiology, experts shared findings of more than 175,000 participants. While women were nearly twice as likely to follow a healthy lifestyle, factors such as poor diet, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure had a more significant impact on their heart health compared to men's. The study highlights the need for gender-specific approaches to heart disease and prevention care. All right, just ahead, stopping your allergy medications may be risky. We explain why in Ask a Nurse. And Sherry, Juliana, Matt, all here to talk to us about the Liver Life Walk. Stay with us on what's happening in health.
This portion is sponsored by Good Samaritan College of Nursing and Health Science and the Mental Health Recovery Board of Warren and Clinton Counties.
In our Ask a Nurse today, stopping your allergy medications may be associated with a unique kind of risk. We ask, what is that risk? Recent warning from the Food and Drug Administration says it could lead individuals to have a severe reaction. It says people have reported severe itching after they stop taking medications such as Zyrtec or Xyzal. The side effects seems to happen to those who quit after long-term use. The FDA now asking manufacturers of the over-the-counter versions to add the new side effect warning to their packaging so that people are aware of this potential problem. Well, it's not the usual place you might think of for an injection, but there's a newer trend that injects Botox into the masseter muscles. These are on the sides of the jaw and help with chewing.
Nurse practitioner Donna Abdelnour says it started as a way to help relieve jaw pain.
So initially it was used as a therapeutic use for TMJ.
But like many things, eventually those such as Stephanie found its benefit went far beyond that therapeutic use. They liked the way it made them look.
We've known for a long time that as we age, we begin to lose volume and elasticity.
Recently, due to weight loss medications causing what's often called Ozempic face, a lot of people have started losing that volume and elasticity.
So what we're going to do is we're going to inject a little bit. Can you clench for me?
So they want to get it back, which is where masseter Botox or sometimes fillers come in.
So we inject a little bit in that muscle just to soften that up.
It's a quick fix, as you can see, that can last anywhere from 3 to 6 months if it's Botox, longer if it's fillers. It lifts and softens the sides of the face.
It is a very easy treatment. It takes a matter of minutes, literally, for the Botox, a little bit longer, a few more minutes for a filler. But yeah, it's got a lasting impression, and it's very subtle, so it's not anything that people really look at and know that you've done something, but it's just a very subtle way to kind of rejuvenate.
Oh, the things we do. This type of injection has also been shown to relax the force of your grind. If you are a teeth grinder at night or a tooth grinder, it can also help reduce the pain and headaches that come from that. These injections usually start at a few $100s and are not covered most of the time for or by your medical insurance plan. All right, on now to those supporting the annual Liver Life Walk. Our wonderful friend Sherry is back. Remind us who you are and why you're involved with the Liver Foundation.
I am Sherry Patterson. I am a liver transplant survivor, and liver health is super important. All three of us are liver transplant recipients, so it's really dear to our heart, liver health. So.
No kidding. You know, I don't even think I've ever met 3 liver survivor transplant people at one place, and I know what that walk is sort of all about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, showing the new face and how much we can do when we support each other. For people not familiar with a liver transplant, remind us, you can have a living liver donor.
Certainly.
And what does that mean?
So someone who is a match can offer up a portion of their liver. So I believe it's 70% and grows back in, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks in the donor. That portion of that liver can be transplanted into someone like me, and it regenerates and you have a healthy liver. It's pretty an amazing process.
I think we're still learning about the liver. We know a lot more now about some other organs like kidneys and whatnot, but a lot of people weren't aware that you could be a living liver donor. So share a little bit of your story.
Yes, 5 years ago, I honestly I would have been really surprised that I was the chair of the walk this year for the American Liver Foundation. At that point, I wasn't yet diagnosed with my autoimmune condition, and I haven't been transplanted, and now I'm 2 years out and doing really well, and I've connected with my donor's family and just grateful for each day. So trying to bring awareness to the, liver health, and most don't realize that there's over 100 different types of liver diseases.
No, we don't. And can I ask what your autoimmune disease is?
Yes, it's primary sclerosing cholangitis. They call it PSC. My body attacked the bile ducts to the point where my liver was failing. So.
Interesting. So it really was hard on your liver.
Absolutely, for many years.
And did you not know you had it until things started going wrong with your liver, or?
It's kind of run silent, and when things start to fail slowly, it becomes a new normal for you until it really comes to the surface, and when I went jaundice, but it had been going on much longer than I had known.
Yeah, isn't that true? It's such a silent disease.
It is.
Yeah. So is that your story also?
No, that is not my story. So I was diagnosed with end-stage liver disease in May of last year, and I was given about a year to live. So we are just over that point. So I'm past that expiration date, which is great. It took me 6 months to qualify for the list. And then it took about 20 days for me to get my liver on December 26th, the day after Christmas.
Wow, what a gift!
I know, right? And then it's been a long journey to get my strength back to be sitting here with you today. And I met Juliana and Sherry through the UC transplant community, and we're working together now to bring awareness to the American Liver Foundation, bring awareness to donors in general. All 3 of our donors were unfortunately deceased, but there is an option to living donating as well. And that's what the American Liver Foundation is doing, so that's what the walk is for.
And I think Sherry said to me that part of the problem you have raising awareness of this is people automatically associate that whatever you have was always alcohol related,
right.
Which isn't true,
Right.
Across the board there. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So do they know what shut down your liver?
Well, it was alcohol, in fact.
No
and
kidding.
I'm not afraid to say that, but that is also a disease as well. So you really just, honestly, to bring awareness to that fact and for people to go to their doctor when they're seeing the signs is very important.
And even with that, there was no judgment on you, was there?
There was not. I mean, well, even if there is, you have to get past that right away. There's a lot of people out there who are scared to go to the doctor. I was one of them. But when I went to the doctor and I found this out, you have to face it head on. Face it with positivity, because negativity is going to...
Good for you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
now you're on the sobriety journey and doing great?
Of course, absolutely.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
No, I've found that providers are not notoriously judgmental. They're just, we're here, we can deal with this and
Right.
move on. Yeah.
Right.
So you're all here for the liver walk. Let's show some photos of that. Let's have team captain, or who wants to talk about that? You do?
Chair? All right. So we are going to be walking at T.M. Barry Friendship Park on June the 7th. It's 8 to 11, I believe. Yeah. 8 to 11. And we're going to have all kinds of fun things. We have a DJ. I'm going to have a very loud and obnoxious team. Very colorful. It's going to be awesome. I am captaining the University of Cincinnati transplant community. So there's a whole bunch of us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be walking with transplant recipients, donors, even some staff, and you, everybody else
and
who's
it's
wants to
important
come.
for other liver diseases, hepatitis and things like that, so we learn about it. Yeah. So I know you'll all be out there. Let me give you a final word. What do you want people to know about liver health?
Get your liver numbers checked. It's not something that's normally on an annual exam, and it's very important. Also, come out to the walk in remembrance of someone or for those fighting, and we're continuing to look for cures for our other diseases.
Yeah, and without that, we don't raise it. What do you want people to know?
Just come on out. Whether you're walking or not, just come to support your family and friends, and get on that donation list. It just takes one signature, and you can save many, many, many lives, including us.
Yeah, and make sure you tell your family your wishes, because you're alive today because someone said yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great to have you guys here today. Thanks for your keeping it real, and we look forward to continuing to share this message. You're just amazing, courageous people. Yeah, we appreciate it. All right, up next, we are going to talk about motorcycles. That's a mode of transportation for a lot of us in the summer, and what we need to know in Healthy on the Go. And Alex is here with Carol from CABVI. They've got some great resources in our community to help those who are blind and visually impaired. We'll tell you about it coming up and what's happening in health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Northern Kentucky Audiology, the Center for Closing the Health Gap, and Journey Light.
In Healthy on the Go today, a reminder that motorcycle helmet laws really do save lives. A study by the American College of Surgeons found in North Carolina, where helmets are mandatory, motorcycle riders experience less severe injuries and are less likely to go to the ICU than in South Carolina, where only riders under the age of 21 have to wear a helmet. And while less than half of riders in South Carolina wear helmets, more than 90% wear them in North Carolina. All right, well, we had a few people stick around. Troy and Santrina are staying here to help us with our wonderful story with the Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Tell us who you are and what you do there.
Yeah, my name is Alex. I'm our special events manager. So I am planning Fun Fest. So that is a blindfolded experience event that allows people for a brief second to understand what it's like to live with a visual impairment. So it's good for all ages. It's at Washington Park on June 7th. And we are going to have family-friendly games, food truck, a live DJ, just all sorts of activities for the family to enjoy.
Well, we love that. You said it replaced your 5K walk. Yes. So we're going to let you get Santrina and Troy ready. They're going to have them play this wonderful cornhole game blindfolded to illustrate some of what those who are sight challenged face. And while you get them ready, I'm going to talk with you just a little bit about, tell us about CABVI, what you do, the mission, that kind of thing.
The Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, CABVI. We are a nonprofit. We've been around since 1911. And we serve the tri-state community, and for people that have visual impairments or they're completely blind.
And you do all kinds of things. You'll go to offices and homes and make things more accessible, that kind of stuff?
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Generally, what would start with a social worker, and then we would try to figure out what services, and we have a kaleidoscope of services that we offer. So,
and everyone's needs are different. When you're sighted, we often think of it as completely, maybe not being able to see, but you have different levels of sight.
Right, exactly. Like our low vision services, if we can find if you have any sight at all, we can, work with you and give you apparatuses and different, things that we can help you to be able to utilize that sight. Or if you're completely blind, that would be a different type of help that we would give. But we do white cane training and accessibility. The main goal, no matter what, is independence. Mm-hmm. We are trying to provide that and teach everyone, that they, in spite of their visual impairment, that they can be independent.
Yeah, well said.
Yes.
All right, well, you have this wonderful day at Washington Park. We'll let your activity director take this away. Now, Troy and Santrina are troopers here. They are not able to see when you cover their eyes. So tell us about this. This is one of the activities you have out there?
Yes, so our big thing with FunFest is some blindfolded experiences. So we will have 3 on the day of FunFest. We will have a blow-up obstacle course. So it's a 60-foot huge obstacle course that you can go through blindfolded. People really enjoy competing with family and friends and racing each other through the obstacle course. We also will have beep baseball, so traditional style home run derby, except you're blindfolded and the ball that is being pitched to you will beep. And then our last one, which we have here with us today, is our beep cornhole. So we tried to make it a little easier this year, and we added some more holes to our cornhole board.
So it's cornhole.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's get cornhole here. Show them what to do.
A little bit here and turn. Perfect. And then I am going, oh, you're facing a little bit the wrong way here. There we go.
Oh, she's stepping out of the way. She's
going
to get hit by a beep.
I will go ahead and make the cornhole
All right,
board beep.
Trina, you're a trooper here.
So,
do I go?
And you can listen to the beep and
right.
try and find where you would toss. So that was a little too
You're
far.
strong. Okay, too strong. A little lighter. Oh,
Perfect.
see?
Here, I'll give you these 2 to let you try. Here, do you want to keep trying? Or do you want, here, all right, we'll let you go.
So I can go.
Hey, Troy, don't use all your strength, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, good job. Almost there.
Perfect.
Whoa.
Look at you.
That's a whole different experience than traditional cornhole. You're probably a pro when it's not like that, right?
Yeah, right.
All right,
So
take off your
as you can
blindfolds.
tell,
We'll show you where your beanbags are. And those are Troy's.
She's stronger than I am.
Good job there. Yeah.
So
All right,
as you can tell with the beeping, it kind of helps you figure out how hard you should throw, and then you can also hear if you make it or not instead of seeing if you make it or not.
That is so interesting. All right, we have a little video. I know you guys do a number of things, but you mentioned some of the cane walking and things like that. We need to make sure that people know you are a wonderful resource, and this is just a way to raise awareness of what you do. It's a whole different experience, isn't it, Trina and Troy,
of course.
when you're not able to see that. But this event at Washington Park is coming up on Saturday, June the 7th. If you come out from 11 to 3, they'll let you learn about what they have available. They'll also let you play this cornhole, that kind of thing. And a lot of your services are done at no charge because you have organizations that support you. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. We're very donor and grant focused, and we do not turn anybody away because of their ability to pay.
That is so important. Wow. Well, you've inspired humanity this hour, all the goodness that has come in the studio, because, in news we don't always get a lot of the good stories,
true.
so we're grateful to you. All right, we'll put a link if you'd like to find out more about CABVI at what'shappeninginhealth.com. Thanks for playing, you guys.
Thank you.
You're good sports. We appreciate it. All right, just ahead, a new treatment helping people treat a painful blood disorder. We're going to tell you what's working against it. Coming up in Healthy Conditions on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Mount St. Joseph University, Elder Law Lawyers, and Advanced Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center.
I want to leave you with a couple headlines. The first is in Healthy Conditions. For the first time in his life, a young New Jersey man is pain-free. And it's all thanks to a groundbreaking treatment designed to cure patients of sickle cell disease. All of his life, 18-year-old Gerald Cordy has suffered from this debilitating side effect of this disease. It is a life-threatening inherited blood disorder. He needed frequent medical care, couldn't play sports, and even the cold could trigger this really bad pain that they have from it. For decades, there has been no treatment, but now Gerald is the first patient in that state to be treated with what's called Lyfgenia. It is a treatment outside of a clinical trial.
Just to endure just a few weeks of pain for a lifetime free of pain it's definitely worth it.
The gene therapy treatment is a treatment where we are essentially curing patients of their disease.
This is remarkable stuff. Doctors collect a patient's blood stem cells, which are then genetically modified in a lab, and then the patient undergoes this intense chemotherapy to kill off their own cells before those modified cells can be infused back into the body. They then produce red, healthy, new cells. FDA approved this treatment in 2023 for patients 12 and older. We are so grateful for his success. All right, go ahead and have another cup today. Another study says good things about coffee. New study out of Portugal suggests that your daily cup might not just perk you up, but it could also help you live longer. Researchers reviewed decades of data, found that regular coffee drinkers may see an increase in their health span or lifespan by nearly 2 years. Finally today, maternal mental health in the U.S. getting worse. A study by Columbia University found the number of moms who said they had excellent mental health dropped 12% between 2016 and 2023. Study notes this could be connected to a similar decline in our physical health. Take care of you today, your mental health as well. That is it for us this week here on What's Happening in Health. We're back same time next week. Hope you will be too. Until then, everybody, stay well and stay tuned.